Welcome back to second half action here in the Women's FA Cup fourth round. At half-time, it is Arsenal 1, London City 0. And there's a change for the visitors as they try and keep the dream of an upset alive. Rihanna Jarrett coming on for Annie Rossiter. No Arsenal changes, so it's a case of as you were, and we are underway in this second half. Myself, Tom Gale, alongside the former England defender Laura Bassett. Clearly a signal of intent, an attacking change from Melissa Phillips' visiting side.
Yeah, I think Rossiter did really well, didn't she? She didn't, you know, she didn't have much service, but in certainly out of possession, away from the ball, she worked hard, tried to set the press to different directions. So maybe it's just a chance to get Jarrett on, who's got bags of experience and a really talented forward. You know, maybe when they do play the ball up, they have a little bit more quality and some fresh pair of legs.
Jarrett, a WSL player with Brighton last season. Didn't score a WSL goal, actual 2 goals that she scored in the entirety of her Brighton career. Came on a debut in the FA Cup. So there you go, London City Lioness fans. If you needed narrative, she's a girl for an eye for goals in this competition. They currently trail to a 44th minute strike from you-know-who, Viviana Miedemar. That's what separates the two sides in this second half. And there is Miedemar, lovely little roll of the ball. Paris, back to Miedemar, on a left foot. Just couldn't keep it down. But Arsenal starting where they left off, trying to really get a stranglehold and get that decisive, what we would think, second goal, Laura Bassett.
Yeah, it's a good decision from Nikita Paris there. Instead of just putting it into the area, into the box where there's lots of bodies, to cut it back, a reverse pass back to Miedemar, you know, to make sure that you secure possession around the 18-yard box and, you know, drop of the shoulder and Miedemar can get a shot away.
So this is the most advanced game of today's fixtures in terms of amount of time played. There is a whole host of other fixtures which you can keep across on the BBC Sport website and app. And once again, Manum, the Norwegian's just not quite got her shooting boots on. That's 3 opportunities she's had in this game, and she's never really got the right connection, has she, Laura?
No, really good switch of play from Miedemar, though, from left to right, and a great touch by Nikita Paris. And again, she just doesn't decide to put it in the box, pulls it back, and it looks like Marnham just didn't get her feet sorted out quick enough, didn't get the feet set, ready to strike, to hit it first time. But we've certainly seen her this season have some wonderful shots. So it's just about concentration, keeping your eye on the ball and setting your feet and your body right to get power through the ball.
London City determined to play what some coiners football the right way, not going long, playing out, but that's when this Arsenal press comes into its own, and as we see there, Vivian Miedemar going back into her own half to win back possession for Jonas Eidevel's side. Mead, good strength, close control, feeds Paris. Space to move into. Once again, it's a firm header. The captain, Harley Bennett, one of many standout defensive contributions in that first half. And like I say, it wasn't until the 44th minute that Arsenal were able to find a way past. Shea Yanis, the American, in goal for London City Lionesses. Fitzgerald there, just halting Beth Mead for an Arsenal throw. Moritz in a new-look Arsenal backline, a number of defensive changes, particularly following their win here on Thursday against Brighton. Illnesses, international duties and potential rest as the reasons for a number of people being absent. And during this difficult time, Laura, COVID, fixture congestion, postponements, it's good that Jonas Eidevel, from his perspective, is able to rotate so heavily.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's, you know, exactly what they've set up to do, because I think maybe in the previous seasons Arsenal have been criticised for not having enough depth compared to other clubs. So I think they've certainly rectified that now, and like you say, with so many different permutations and so many different issues and concerning different players at the minute, with the Asia Cup as well being played at the minute, you know, it's fantastic to have a great squad depth so that you can put out a strong 11, because this strong 11 is really competitive, but also they can start working on their connections and partnerships going forward.
Arsenal have lifted the WSL title and the League Cup in recent years, but you have to go back to 2016, the last time they won the FA Cup. Last December, they were comfortably beaten by Chelsea in the final. As London City, the break is on here. Jarrett gonna have to work hard to try and close down Zinsberger. The Austrian gives her an incentive there by taking an early touch, but calm display there, and they'll work it forward once again.
I think you can see Ruben Moy putting her hand up, apologising. She's travelling into space, into bodies, and gets caught. But great reaction from Beth Mead. If you see her, she sprints back, puts the pressure on, you know, and it's in those moments that, you know, determine a really good team, because mistakes happen, you give the ball away, make poor decisions, but it's what you do in that next phase. Do you sulk and throw your arms around and show frustration, or do you deal with the problem? And certainly Beth Mead helped her teammate out there, reacting so quick and applying the pressure, and it came to nothing. The attack fizzled out. So it's in those moments that the great players and great teams show what they're about.
Here comes Ruben Moy. McCabe. It's tight over on that touchline, too tight, and it's a London City throw. The visitors from the women's second tier, the FA Women's Championship, where only one team gets promoted into the top flight, and they're currently chasing Liverpool. Got a big game in the league in a couple of weeks' time, and Arsenal themselves have a couple of big league games coming up. Manchester United, and then away at Chelsea. But their focus right now solely on progressing to the 5th round of the FA Cup, something that London City have never achieved before. Floated towards Manham. Miedemar tidies things up. Good press from London City. And chance for Jarrett to try and get in behind, but Boy reads that situation awfully well. You'll know that move, Laura, just stepping across the attacker just to make it more difficult for them.
Yeah, that's right. I think it just shows that she's really intelligent. She knows exactly the awareness, what's going on around her, and it makes it look very easy and very simple.
We referenced there were 5 changes made by Jonas Eidevall. It is a very youthful and inexperienced bench. There's only the Austrian Laura Wienrotte, who has recognised first team experience. Be interesting to get the manager's thoughts post-match on the reason for the likes of no Williamson, no Souza, no Volti, no Tobin Heath. But so far, no problem in terms of trying to book their progression in the Women's FA Cup 4th round. Moritz. Around the corner from Paris. Miedemar battling with Rogers, who seems awfully confident that that was going to go for a goal kick. And she's rightfully, she got that decision right. As we look at that youthful Arsenal bench, we mentioned about the experience, so the player looking set to come on is the new signing made this month, Laura Wienrotte, a defender. Looks as though she'll be entering proceedings very shortly. Nobbs sold McCabe rather short there, and Rouse working hard but dispossessed. Little. Miedemar back to goal. That's what London City want, as the Dutch superstar as far away from their net as possible. And their persistence is rewarded. Spoke too soon. Mead. Manham. Good delivery. No one is able to connect from a defensive or attacking display, but it's a bit of a repeat of the first half, the opening 15 minutes, Laura, where London City just really struggling to get hold of the ball. Yeah,
that's right. And I think Arsenal had a great attack down the right-hand side with Marnham, and probably for the first time there wasn't enough boxes in the boxes, players in the box.
Once again, it comes from the right. Deep cross, Fitzgerald. I don't think she did connect, so that will be a London City throw, but plenty of warning here. And Miedemar is once again dropped to the turf and requires attention. She doesn't seem overly stressed, but Arsenal are going to be making a change. Jonas Eidevall wants a word with one of the outfield players, just gesturing over. And is it going to be the goal scorer that has to make way? It does look as though her afternoon is over. And not that we wish ill on any player, Laura, but from a London City perspective, if the goal scorer's going off, you'd be more than encouraged by that.
Yeah, I think it's been quite evident and clear that Miedemar's been struggling in some whatever the reason, but you know, she's been a little bit looking discomfort. But you're right, she still had those moments of composure, the switches of play, the connection, you know, the assist and the goal. You know, she's still by head and shoulders been the most composed player and most threatening. So like you say, if you're a London City player and she's going off, you're happy. You know, it'd be interesting to see how Arsenal shuffle the pack, because Wienrotte is, you know, by trade a fullback, but very attacking and can score goals. So it'd be interesting how they do shuffle the back.
So that'll no doubt be one of the questions posed to Jonas Eidevall in his post-match interview, the health and fitness of his arguably best player, who's made way. But so far, it's her goal in the 44th minute that has her side going through to the Women's FA Cup 5th round. So as Laura's rightfully pointed out, there's going to be a rejig and shape there. Looks as though Nikita Paris is potentially going to be a lone striker through the middle, as Arsenal look to shuffle things around. Maybe Mead dropping into midfield. But chance to discuss that and as the game goes on. But from a London City perspective, Laura, what's key to them at least getting half a chance of finding a way back into this match?
Well, I think it's about, you know, really concentrating, pressing well. You know, they certainly don't want to concede again because then the game gets stretched and it gets out of their reach, you know. But certainly moments, dead ball situations where they can set a press, identifying when they can press, poor touches, ball in the air to go and compete. And any unforced error or, you know, wayward pass to really go and win back the ball. We saw how dangerous the set pieces was from Molly Rouse in the first half. So, you know, can they get up the pitch, really try and force a corner and force any set pieces?
Here comes Rouse trying to thread through Jarrett. But Boy steps up, the Danish international, to read the situation and win the ball back for her side.
With the Arsenal region, it looks like Maritza's gone to left back, Bain Reuter's gone in a right back position, McCabe's pushed up into a left attacking forward, like you say, Nikita Paris down central, and Mead still on the right.
McCabe, slide tackle. Girasoli. Short-lived regain of possession, though, for London City. We're approaching the hour mark, and they still trail 1-0. Boy rides 2 challenges, can't play it into Nikita Paris's path. And he has none. Head down, looks down the line, can't pick out Jarrett.
They're the types of things they need to be looking for, though, you know. Now you've got runners with Jarrett, try and isolate a 1v1 down the channel because she's a physical player, can run in the channel very well, so a little bit more quality to the balls into the channel. And hopefully Jarrett could, you know, maybe force Arsenal back and start to get up the pitch and gain things.
Hayley Nolan and Karine Mouya look set to join the game for London City. Mead onto a left foot, takes the touch, just crowded out Paris. And the goalkeeper's awfully brave there. And I think the whistle had already gone for an earlier decision. Just the speed of movement. The defenders dare not touch her, do they, Laura? Because, you know, that she's so quick and agile, you'd be bringing her down. That's
right, and we often see Beth Mead, you know, we know how good she is with her right foot. We see her all the time coming on her left foot. So the defenders did really well.
Nobbs. Another sight of goal for Arsenal, but we talked about Miedemar being the difference maker. It's just that little bit of quality that's needed in front of goal. And Arsenal have fallen short on a number of occasions this afternoon, but they still have their noses in front. Just a single goal. Weinrotter saw a route blocked. London City try and clear it upfield to Jarrett. But replacing Rossiter, it's pretty much like for like, just chasing around, trying to throw those defenders off the stride, feeding off scraps, really. Maritz. Nobbs. Certainly one of those players taking advantage of some of her teammates being away on Asia Cup duty to try and firm up a regular starting place, the England international. And it's coming straight back at the London City goal. Little, Nobbs, Vanham. Again, just that final ball. And the longer it drags on, Laura, with it just being 1-0, every scoreline's dangerous. All commentators and people will tell you. Comebacks come from all sort of scorelines, but particularly at 1-0.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think the longer it does stay 1-0, I think the messages from Arsenal, you know, will be slightly different. Do the defending properly, win back the ball, concentrate, and it's more about keeping what you've got rather than keep pushing forward. I know they always like to push forward and get goals, but it's about eliminating those errors, isn't it?
Just saw there, Napier's clearly being encouraged to stay wide left, and Rausch just couldn't find the power or generate the necessary power to spray that ball across. But they are continuing to be positive, London City Lionesses. And again, an Arsenal error sees them regain possession. Primus, nice turn, heavy touch. Little gobbles things up from an Arsenal perspective. few nice drops of the shoulder, and they are away down this right-hand flank. Mead looks up, that's a great delivery, which Nikita Paris acknowledges and maybe knows that she should have done better, bringing that down one touch and then second touch strike.
The quality, again, I know I've said it all game, but the delivery from Beth Mead has been exceptional. And Nikita Paris probably has got a little bit more time and space than she thought. She knows she's in between them, but she doesn't quite know that the pressure's not coming, whereas previous opportunities, she's been so tightly marked that it has been difficult. But what a fabulous chance that was. It just needs any kind of connection to take it goal-bound.
Beth Mead yet to lift the FA Cup. She's lifted all the other domestic honours in an Arsenal shirt. A corner flicks up off Napier, so she'll have another go. Very encouraging, the form from an Arsenal perspective, but also with your England head on. The Women's Euros taking place this summer on home soil. And no doubt Beth Mead looking to be a key part of whatever narrative plays out as England's quest to be crowned European champions. As Nobbs sees her effort blocked. And Rogers finds touch. Does look as though we will now have chance to see those changes for London City. Like for like from a defensive point of view. Giraselli being replaced by Nolan. And Jamie Lee Napier against the former side. She was developed through the Arsenal Academy. She makes way for Karine Mouya, a goal scorer. As London City try and keep their FA Cup hopes alive. Rogers thought she'd won the throw. It's been a frustrating afternoon for all attacking players, I think it has to be said, from a London City perspective. There's not been too much direct offensive action from anyone in a blue shirt. But that's just the nature of playing a top-tier side, isn't it, Laura?
That's right, and sometimes the game plays out like that. You know, I'm sure all attacking players would like to spend the whole game with the ball and expressing themselves and their skill level. But sometimes the game doesn't play out like that. You have to execute your defensive role and capabilities. And I think the players gone off have done that. And I think every player has done that, and they should be really proud of themselves and still with time to push on.
Referee Chloe Ann Anderson slows things up for an Arsenal set piece, which is going to be taken by arguably the busiest player in a red and white shirt. That's Beth Mead. Been at the fore of everything good from an Arsenal perspective. Yet to find a name on the score sheet, though. Viviane Miedemar's strike in the 44th minute. This is why this tie still is finely balanced. There are other games in the Women's FA Cup 4th round. Head to the BBC Sport website, download the app. You can keep up with the latest across a busy weekend of 4th round action. The only two sides thus far who've booked their place. Their games took place yesterday. The holders Chelsea and fellow WSL side Manchester City. Arsenal looking to join them. And here's McCabe. Able to roll Fitzgerald. Digs out the cross. Paris can't head it goalwards.
Again, the quality of delivery from wide areas is good. McCabe does really well to wrestle round out of the pressure from Fitzgerald. Yeah, it's a really tough one to get goal-bound. That from Nikita Paris is a good effort, but it is hard to direct.
Arsenal again pressing high, crowding the space, forcing the error. And London City anywhere will do at the moment.
I do think Primus, Rouse and Rogers have done really well in the central area. You know, anything that goes centrally, they're there blocking the passing lanes or applying a lot of pressure. So they are forcing Arsenal wide. and then adjusting accordingly. And then when the crosses do come in, Lionesses is good, the two centre-backs are good in the air. So that's why I think things are working for them at the minute, and it's quite, comfortable and in control.
Paris, whose only goals in an Arsenal shirt have come in the Women's Champions League, yet to get one in the WSL. And boy, she could do with one in the FA Cup. Nutmeg from Mead, deflection. That's a second bite at it. And Murphy with the awfully brave challenge there. Body on the line stuff from the London City Lioness defender to get plenty behind it and prevent the strike going goalwards. And Muya does well. Plays it down the line to Jarrett, who had very few touches at the ball, the second half substitute. Brought on during the interval. Wooben Moy. Another established Lioness now, Lotte Wooben Moy. Been a regular in England's World Cup qualifying campaign. And has healthy competition, it has to be said, for a starting berth in the Arsenal lineup. Weinrotter gets to it. Oof, off the bar. I think it's fair to say she wasn't striking from there, but the aim was to fizz across the delivery, and you almost doubled the advantage there. Yeah,
she does well, doesn't she? It's a nice give and go, and I think she's just, because the ball's going fast and she doesn't want it to go out of play, she's just leaning, and I'm not too sure she has too much, she doesn't know quite where the ball's going. She just wants to get it in the box.
Approaching the final 20 minutes of normal time. That's the closest Arsenal have come in this second half to adding to that current scoreline on the top of your screen, which reads Arsenal 1, London City Lionesses 0. If you need reminding, London City from the second tier, they were a breakaway team in 2019, moving away from the established Millwall setup to go out on their own. On the club website, it says a new era for football, a new club for London. Well, one of the London powerhouses is Jonas Eidevall's Arsenal. The Swedes appointed to take over the reins from Joe Montemuro last summer. And likewise, Melissa Phillips was given the permanent role as head coach for London City Lionesses back in October 2020. Muya, neat, close control. She's running out of space there, though. Very tight in and around that technical area. But that's what you need from London. It's just someone to maybe just bring a bit more burst of energy and carry that ball up the pitch, Laura.
Yeah, I think London City Lionesses, they'll be looking for a change in momentum, something to swing the play, the direction of play, whether it's a big tackle or, well, like you say, whether it's Muya striding down the wide area. She just ran out of space there. So it'd be interesting to get her the ball with a little bit more space going at these two centre-backs. So, yeah, you'd be looking for a signal or, kind of a set piece or a tackle or something to go in your way to get you up the pitch and to, maybe get these players given a little bit more and believing that they can get something out of this game rather than seeing it through and seeing it out.
Chance for Nobbs. She didn't quite get the clean connection she would have hoped for. But once again, London City Lionesses goalkeeper being kept awfully busy.
Yeah, Marnham's runs down those right-hand side they're proving difficult to pick up and gain, and they do get good quality, and it's a good first-time effort from Jordan Nobbs.
15 shots for Arsenal, 10 of which have found the target. Still yet to register a shot goalwards from London City, but this is the most advanced they've been in the second half. So we see Alex Scott there in the crowd. Pretty sure that was Alex Scott just before she closely disappeared. Former Arsenal player, England international, a regular voice across the BBC and the TV coverage of the men's and women's game. And she'll be happy with what she's seen from an Arsenal perspective, because they are on track for a place in the 5th round, and that's a heavy coming together there. No malice, I don't think, from Fitzgerald. It's a ball to be won and contested, certainly, Laura.
Yeah, I think it was a foul, but like you say, I don't think it was. There's no malice. The ball. What happens is the ball goes high in the air, so that's what I think it's took both players by surprise. It's definitely a foul, and I think she has, connected with McCabe in the face. So I think a good refereeing decision here. Yellow card, overzealous and mistimed.
21-year-old Lucy Fitzgerald. It's her third season in the first team. And as you say, I think she's a little frustrated there. She certainly wasn't trying to injure an opponent, but the replay didn't like nice viewing as regards to the elbow, forearm into McCabe's face, and hopefully the Irish woman is okay to continue.
I think Fitzgerald has done well this afternoon. I think she's often been exposed, and in terms of a 1v1, she hasn't had much support from either the wide player or midfielders, so they're having to be very patient, and they're up against world-class wide players, so that can go on the inside or outside. So I think, it's been quite a long afternoon for her, but she's, done well and stuck up to the challenge.
She signed a new deal with the club at the start of the season, so someone Melissa Phillips certainly feels has a long-term future with the club, but our concerns at the moment are with Katie McCabe. She's back from suspension into the firing line, and Jonas Eiderval and his support staff there, Aaron D'Antonio and Leanne Hall, just understandably concerned. And Melissa Phillips pondering what their next move is in terms of trying to find some way of keeping their FA Cup hopes alive. So obviously we will have quite a bit of added time here as McCabe, thankfully, is back to her feet. Those thoughts being echoed by the clapping hands of the home fans, and it looks as though she's picked up a bit of a nosebleed there. Of course, we all know what hot topic of debate concussion is in all forms of elite sport, so the necessary protocols will have to be taken before she's deemed fit to resume action. So for the time being, Arsenal down to 10. Wooben Moy. Maritz. Muya does well. Fresh legs, able to quickly reposition herself, get back in a defensive stance and hook the ball clear. But once again, Arsenal have it in their grasp over the other side. Riding a few challenges there. Feinrotter, who's been at the fore of the action so far, and it looks as though McCabe is determined to get back involved, Laura.
Yeah, I don't think she'll want to miss any minutes. I think she's been exceptional for Arsenal this season and last season. So she'll certainly want to, stay on the pitch and prove a point and prove that she can play the left back, left midfield, wherever this team needs her, she can perform.
It's certainly a healthy competition for places in these Arsenal ranks. What all elite clubs are aspiring to is having that depth to draw upon. But here come London City. Chance for their opening strike goalwards, is it? No. Kim Little, good strength, close control, able to move the ball away from danger.
Really good opportunity from London City Lionesses, that, wasn't it? Crossing to the box, but again, just shows the class and composure of Kim Little to wriggle her way out of that.
No rush whatsoever, all the time in the world, just to make the right decision and move the ball away from harm's way from an Arsenal perspective. But, like we need reminding, 1-0 is a precarious scoreline for the 14-time winners. They'd love a much bigger cushion, but that's what their efforts have been rewarded with so far. Beth Mead trying to change things. Wooben Moy. Boy. Little under pressure. She saw the challenge coming. She had her wing mirrors on. She knew the contact was coming from Rouse there. And again, Arsenal won't mind this, just any breaks up in play, because they're the ones with the noses in front, Laura.
Yeah, I'm sure as an Arsenal player, it certainly looks like this from outside, but certainly playing in that, I'm sure it feels very much in control. And like you say, awareness from Kim Little, she knew the pressure was coming on, so it's so smart to stand over the ball and draw the foul. But I'm sure it feels like they're in control. They're certainly dominating, aren't they? And they just have to be very disciplined, concentrate fully, and snuff out anything that London City Lionesses do throw at them if they choose in the last 10 minutes to throw extra bodies forward and go a little bit more direct.
Space for McKay, but she's quickly closed down by Muya. Here's Nobbs. And I guess game management, Laura, as well. You can't play at your best all the time, and it's a case of when you are in front, just seeing the job out.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they'll be looking for, certainly, look, the first and foremost priority is being the hat for tomorrow's draw. You know, that's what you want to be. You want to be in the next round. But I think additionally to that, you want to get players minutes, get the loading right, get performance right, get people playing well, full of confidence, enjoying, because like you spoke about the fixture list that Arsenal have coming up with 2 tough games, and then going into an international break on an individual basis, players want to be playing well and performing, with a lot of these players having the Euros as well as a further added incentive in the summer.
And I guess one of the key components of having strength and depth is ensuring everyone feels involved and giving opportunities to everyone.
Yeah, that's 100% right. And sometimes it causes you more headaches because you don't know your best team, and sometimes you have to look at the opponent, how can you exploit them, and you have all different kind of decisions to make, and sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But I'm sure Jonas Eidevall would like to have those decisions rather than not.
The Swedes, who tasted defeat in the final in December, looking to get back to winning ways at their first hurdle in the 2021-22 FA Cup competition. All of the top flight sides don't enter until the 4th round. And it was London City who saw off Ashford Town comfortably, 6-1 winners in the 3rd round to book their place. They've never advanced further than the 4th round in their short history. And I'm sure there have been some away fans who've made the trip to Boreham Woods who will just want for that. We haven't really seen that one moment, have we? We haven't seen a clear sight of goal from a London City Lionesses perspective. No,
that's right. But I'm sure on the bigger picture piece, you know, Melissa Phillips will be saying, if it does stay this way, that, you know, it was only last year that we were being beat 4-0 by top tier teams. You know, that we've closed the gap, but also it's a marker of, if you want to compete, get promoted to the top league, to the WSL, then this is the fitness level, this is how quick you've got to move the ball, this is the chances you need to be creating. So also you dangle a little carrot and try and motivate your players. And yes, you're doing great and we're competing in the league, and we just certainly competed and defending well, but there's still lots of more room for growth and improvement. So let's crack on and get the hard work and do that.
Mead, can she keep it on? Can she keep it in? She can. Just rolls for studs over the ball. It's another fine delivery. Excellent defending. Arsenal want a foul. Play continues. Murphy. Apologies, Nolan driving out of defence. And here's Nobbs. We were able to catch a glimpse of Alex Scott alongside Arsenal regular Leah Williamson in the crowd there. Williamson not in the matchday squad. One of 5 changes made by Jonas Eidevall following their Thursday night win here against Brighton to re-establish their lead over Chelsea at the top of the WSL. And as it stands, they are on course for back-to-back wins. Excellent defending. It just flicks up and just diverts the trajectory of the ball. But Arsenal not giving up on this. They're searching for the killer blow.
I do think all game London City Lionesses have defended crosses really well, whether that's being in the air or on the floor. You know, every single player has got tight to the Arsenal attacker, or Lionesses has come and collected. I just think the different types, you know, I think it certainly proves that they've worked on it in training and tried to nullify that strength of Arsenal's.
Primus. It's a difficult ball back to Bennett, who keeps the composure. This is nice from London City Lionesses. Saw the intention to try and get it over to Nunn, but nowhere near enough weight on the pass. Could they be made to pay? Mead. Left foot. Oh, inches wide. Best player on the park by a distance for me, Laura Bassett.
Yeah, you're right. I think every time she's got the ball on her feet, you probably, when you're defending this, you know Beth Mead's probably going to cut on her left foot, but you can't move because she's got a fierce right foot. But as soon as she drags it onto her left, we've seen her score goals and have chances in this game, but you just can't stop it. And with the power that, you know, if it is on target, it's a goal. But she's just so dangerous either side. So as a defender, you don't know which way to show her. You just need to make sure that you've got another teammate backing you up. So the space where you do show her, you're showing her into another teammate.
Again, possession of the football is short-lived for the visitors. And once again, it's that nemesis for them. Beth Mead showing no signs of fatigue. With the cutback, flicks up off McCabe's chest. Bit of juggling from Jordan Nobbs. Little keeps the pressure on. McCabe forced to work a little bit harder than she would have liked, but she'll settle for a corner. Arsenal's 11th of the game. Approaching just over 6 minutes of normal time. There will be added time following that treatment received by McCabe, who's set to take this corner. Floats the delivery in. Comes back out. Arsenal go again. Little, the Arsenal captain, 251 appearances for her club. McCabe. Bennett with the header clear. Primus can't help it on. She gets a second chance, but doesn't want to look forwards. Retreats. And there's further pressure for London City Lionesses. Just need to catch a breath, don't they, really, Laura? It's been pretty relentless for this last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think they've showed good fitness levels though, but now I think, you're seeing when they're on the ball, they just can't get the ball forward, they can't get it into their attacking players. It's either a poor execution or the press from Arsenal, because they are fit and hungry and do want to win this game, they can just snuff it out.
If you were with us earlier, we did reference the inexperience on the Arsenal bench. It's not a full list of substitutes, only 6 named by Jonas Eidevall, and the only player with first team experience has already been brought into proceedings. That's the defender, Laura Wienrotte, who replaced the striker, the goal scorer, as it stands, the match winner, Viviana Miedemar. 1-0 Arsenal lead with just over 4 minutes of normal time remaining. Wooben Moy just ups the pace to drive forwards. Paris did well to get anywhere near that. Chance for Fitzgerald to tidy things up. And it's certainly not patronising, Laura, but even in defeat, London City, their objectives to challenge for the Women's Championship, to get more chances next year of going far in the competition. There's a lot of positives for Melissa Phillips' side. Yeah,
exactly that. I think, you want to expose your players to as many different challenges. I'm sure they're getting challenged week in, week out with different clubs in the Championship, but being exposed to more WSL sides, not only in pre-season friendlies, because we know you have different objectives and rotation and trying different things, but actually in-game, in-season, when everyone's fit and there's something on the line for it. So these players have been exposed to probably a quicker game than they're used to, more direct, having to concentrate. The fitness levels have been higher, playing at a quicker pace. So, and like I said, they were losing to WSL teams 3 and 4-0 last season, whereas this season they've drawn, beat, and only losing narrowly. I've seen Arsenal this season, put 4-5 past very well established and organised team. So the fact that it's still only 1-0 at the minute, going into the last few minutes of the game, is huge credit to London City Lionesses.
Got some big domestic games coming up. They've got fellow top half sides Durham and Crystal Palace, and then they have a home tie against the current league leaders Liverpool, who they trail by 7 points at the moment, but do have a game in hand. Mead tries to ride the challenge and pressure from Rogers. And that's nice from London City. Nunn into Rogers, but she's quickly swallowed up by a combination of Marnham and Mead. It's going to be a London City goal kick. Just a reminder, this was the earliest kick-off on this Sunday of Women's FA Cup 4th round weekend. There are games currently going on, a mixture of kick-off times. If you want your one-stop shop for all the latest, head to the BBC Sport website, download the app. You can keep across all the scores from the games. And this one here seems to be going the way of the current WSL leaders, the 14-time winners of the FA Cup, Arsenal women. Understandably, Arsenal in no hurry to get on with things. Tight down near that touchline, too tight, and it's a London City Lionesses throw. Jarrett with the miscue. And I think does it just royally boil down to that, Laura, just the difference in quality? Unfortunately, from a London City perspective, they've done their most to make it a physical contest, to press, to do those hard things off the ball, but ultimately just lacking that bit of quality when they have had the ball.
Yeah, I think so. And also, it's so hard to change your mindset. The best players do it so well and make it look so easy. When you've been working hard for so long, and then all of a sudden you're on the ball and you have to keep the ball, produce that moment of quality when you're fatigued and been defending for so long and been so starved of the ball all game. It's a lot of pressure, and that's what the great players do, don't they? They as soon as they get the ball, they look after it, they create something, they make things happen. So yeah, I think that is the big difference.
Just 2 trophyless seasons in the past 19 years for Arsenal women. And they aren't over the line yet. There will be a minimum of 5 added minutes for a visitor's perspective to try and keep this tie alive, but still chance for Arsenal to put it beyond doubt. Rouse, ball behind Primus. Marnham cleans things up. Neat touch there by Wooben Moy. And the composed head of Kim Little. Meads. Keep ball now, surely, for Arsenal. Don't do anything silly. Not sure Eunice Heidevel would have appreciated that ball there from Boy down the line, gifting possession back to London City. But again, Arsenal working ever so hard off the ball, led by their captain. They win it back. Marnham tried the back heel. Palish just trying to squeeze all that last bits of energy out of her body, and that's a lovely through ball, is it? Just a little too much on it. Muya was away. The first chance she's really had to stretch her legs and get in behind that Arsenal back line, but Zinsberger was alert and able to sniff out the danger. And that's the focus required from a top-level goalkeeper. She's had very little to do, Laura, but she was alert when needed. Wienrotter. Nutmeg. Tries to stab it across. Marnham again. She can't find a shooting boots. Mead. Checks. Trying to pick out a teammate. Into the path of Nobbs. It's deflected. And here is Muya with the ball at her feet. Tackled by McCabe, illegally so, according to the referee, Chloe-Ann Anderson.
Again, Muyu's certainly making the difference, isn't she? She's causing a lot of problems, and she travels here well with the ball, and you can see she just wants to get into her stride, but it's a clever tactical foul from Katie McCabe to stop the break, let Arsenal players get back behind the ball, but Muyu's certainly caused some problems down that side since she's come on.
And the Arsenal defender receives her side's first yellow card here in added time of the Women's FA Cup 4th round. And it's London City Lionesses pumping the ball forward. Muya trying to bring it under control. Here's Nolan, the centre-half, trying to pull everyone forwards. And they can't find that telling delivery to try and test what's been an awfully quiet afternoon for Manuela Zinsberger.
It is interesting. I think if Arsenal would have been 3-4, 5-0 up, maybe some of those young, inexperienced subs have come onto the pitch. The fact that, you know, he has only made one substitution is huge credit to Melissa Phillips and a strong team today.
Melissa Phillips, a young, growing coach. Her experience largely in the collegiate system in the United States. She's San Francisco born, but doing an excellent job trying to lead London City Lionesses to not only an upset here, but their pursuit of top-flight women's football in England. It looks as though their focus will solely revert back to the Women's Championship, because unless something dramatic changes here, they are going to be exiting for the 3rd consecutive year at the 4th round stage at the hands of WSL opposition. And Jonas Eideval, the Swede, keeping alive their hopes of 3 trophies: the Women's Champions League, the WSL, which they currently lead, and here, the FA Cup. Fitzgerald looks down the line. And unfortunately for the visitors, that comes to very little. And again, Arsenal just using that game management, no rush to get on with the throw, eating into those valuable seconds of time. And it has been a testing afternoon for the current league leaders.
Yeah, I think maybe in a way that they haven't experienced for a while in their season. You know, they've certainly had different problems thrown at them, but, you know, London City Lionesses have been very stubborn, very organised, like I say, defending crosses so well and caused them different problems, and they've been hard to break down, so all credit to them. But, you know, Arsenal have got over the line in the next round of the hat, which is all important.
They have Viviana Miedemar's 44th minute strike, the one that counts, which means at full time, Arsenal 1, London City Lionesses 0, and a deserved victory for the 14-time winners, it has to be said, Laura.
Yeah, like I said, the main thing is to be in the hat. They're in that. You know, if they go on and win this competition, no one will remember their performance against London City Lionesses. So I'm sure they're through. They're happy. Maybe they can improve their performance, but a lot of players got minutes. So, you know, I'm sure Arsenal will be happy that they're through.
They are. Arsenal join Chelsea and Manchester City in the Women's FA Cup 5th round. At full time, Arsenal 1, London City Lionesses 0.